correct. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this, right? There is it the recruiter's fault that they were selling the wrong package of information, or did the customer sell the recruiter a bill of goods, which then the recruiter played a little telephone and then now is giving off to the candidate, right?
Yeah. Which
turned out to be a completely wrong deal.
It could be a little bit of both. Honestly, I don't think companies are necessarily intentionally malicious in not giving facts, because guess what? If you're working there, you're going to figure it out. But it happens because they need a position filled or they need something done and they just want to get anyone in the door. I think more often than not, and this is my experience, it's our faults. That we don't relay. We didn't do our due diligence. We didn't do our homework. We didn't know that it was contract to hire, not direct hire, which this guy explicitly said, I only take a direct hire position. I didn't know that the bill rate was only $60 and you need to get paid $60 an hour. I think more often than not, it's our fault. Okay, I'm not saying me because I never do those things. I have a lot. But we screw up more than I think our clients say, you know what, let me just tell you that this is the greatest place on earth. You get free massages and free meals every day, and then you come and it's a sweatshop. I don't think it happens that way normally. But I think it's because there are bad recruiters. And again, bad, I hate using that word per se, but it's maybe people who just aren't as experienced or don't care as much. Because if you care about your job and your reputation, because for me, my job, my reputation is reflective on everything I do in my career. And I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to look unethical. And so everything I'm doing is, how is this going to how are people going to think of me down the road if I do this or I don't do this? And I just don't think some people look at it that way at all.
You want to know a funny story? I don't know if you were working with me. One time we had this one customer. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this without giving any names away. We had a customer, we had met with this customer. I had actually met a girl who worked there who introduced me when I was taking a class at ASU. She was in a product design thing. She was a business analyst there, and she became a PM, and now she's gotten very far down in her career path. But she had got me in contact with the CEO of this company, and he's like, hey, I need to hire this position. I think it might have been some software engineers or something like that. They were a managed services company, right? So they would do contract or consulting, PO based type of projects that would manage by a client partner, and had a project manager and had the tech team that's involved. So I had our recruiter sending me candidates, and I had. This is going to get really weird. I had a recruiter sending me candidates, and I sent the candidates off because they said they had vetted them. And I, as the sales guy, this is a learning experience for me, by the way. So I was not at my, I was making mistakes here. There was a ton of mistakes here that happened. So I trusted the recruiter, because you got to trust your recruiter at one point in time. Right. You got a good relationship trusting the recruiter. And I sent the candidate. Customer says, okay, set up an interview, right? I set up the interview. Candidate goes to interview. Customer calls me when the interview is done and goes, do you know this candidate's name? And I go, what do you mean? Yeah, it's like Joseph blah 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 or whatever. He goes, actually, his name is Robert. Where did you get Joseph from? And I go, I don't know, that was on the resume that was sent to me. He's like, did they change his name? Well, it turned out the recruiter changed the name. And I don't know why the story was. Do you remember this?
I remember that.
You remember this? Okay, this was you. This is so much better.
Well, it wasn't me that did it.
No.
But I remember. But I remember who did it.
Yeah. Do you remember this? And they had changed the name on the resume. I didn't know. This is the name that came on the paper that I had sent and forwarded. Right? And now I'm sitting, look, I had another situation where one of my recruiters made a gender assumption with the name. Like the candidate's name was like Pat.
Yeah.
Right? And they had a low voice. Pat had a low voice, was a dynamic CRM specialist. So in the submittals, we're like, He does this. He's done that. He did that. Pat shows up.
She didn't appreciate it.
She was not too. They were like, I guess the customer had told me, like, we walked out and we were like looking for this guy, and then we were like, Pat? Is Pat here? Yeah, me, or whatever. And they're like, you can't be Pat. We're looking for a guy named Pat. Oh no, I'm a woman. So these types of things are real scenarios, and this is the problem. This is this, and you can't see me, but I'm putting my touching my fingers together. This is like the connection, right? You have the business development manager telephoning to the recruiter, and the sharing of information can sometimes be not 100%. And in that, you get that bad quality process.
Yeah.
Which comes out.
Yeah, gosh,
those are great.
There are so many stories like that you learn from, you grow. And I think, again, we've talked about this from the very first episode. I don't necessarily think we're the best recruiters. We've just been doing it for a long time, and I think we're good. Don't get me wrong. I don't say that in a boastful, braggadocious way. I think we're good.
Man, we're the best recruiters. So,
but you just learn. You should learn from your mistakes, because things like that happen. And if you don't learn from it, then you're just doomed to fail and be miserable.
It's kind of funny, it's kind of these fun little stories.
There's a lot of funny stories that. Gosh, looking back now, I have one hanging up on my wall right here, which I'll explain sometime. If my friend Gabby ever listens, I call it. I can't say it because it involves the candidate's name, but it's the blank blank incident. It's dated. It's signed by the recruiter, but this was a picture that was sent to me by the hiring manager. It's one of the best stories of my career. So we'll go over that sometime. But it was what ended up happening was I trusted my recruiter, and I still do trust her. But I was on vacation. I saw the resume. It looked great, but I didn't talk to the candidate. I showed up to walk him in for an interview, and immediately I was like, this is not going to go well at all. I'm in the lobby with the candidate texting the manager saying, nope, don't, you shouldn't do this interview. We shouldn't do it. He's like, I'll just do it anyway. I'm like, no, you shouldn't. Yep, I'm going to. Okay, I'm telling you, I don't put my stamp of approval on this. I'm sorry. Don't hate me after this interview. And I got I wish I would have saved this email, the funniest email back from this manager with this picture, and it's because I didn't do my job properly. If I would have called this candidate, taken 5 minutes, I would have been able to weed that guy out in a heartbeat. But I didn't, and you learn from your mistakes. And
dude, I have a story kind of similar, and it's about a candidate. Now, sometimes when you recruit these lower level roles, you don't always meet them. Right. And you probably should. Honestly, you should probably meet the lower level ones.
Probably more so
than the higher level ones. And the reason is because the volume is so high. Phoenix is huge. The person's working. They're in Chandler. They live in Buckeye, right? I live in North Phoenix. It's hard, right? So I'm just like, hey, look, I'm gonna just send this person. I've had a really good phone interview with them. They sound great. I've had a really great conversation. This is a person who I feel very comfortable sending. On a technical level, on a personality level. Guy shows up for an interview. Okay. I don't know did I ever show you this picture? My customer had a glass interviewing room, and the candidate's back was facing the glass, and the guy who was interviewing was inside, and you could see, because he took a picture through the glass of this guy sitting down. And when I told the candidates, I said, hey man, this is a casual environment. I mean, you got your guy probably going to be interviewing you. He's got a Vans t-shirt on. He's probably full sleeved. He's got, a Duck Dynasty beard going on. There's probably something in the beard. I mean, who knows? But it's a pretty cash environment. Like, They're comfortable.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I'm coming from work. I go, okay. It was a little cool out. It was a little chilly. It was in the winter time, probably in January, February. I go, okay, sounds good. Just wear what you're at with work. You should be good. Business cash. Right? If it's good enough for your other company, your enterprise company you're working at, it's good enough for these guys.
Right.
Walks in, sits down, the customer takes a picture of the guy sitting down, and it's just like I don't even remember what he said. It was just like, the guy had on do you know those old school sports jackets? Like, they're real, like, shiny, like, sheen, like my grandfather had, like, an old Boston Celtics shiny white. It was like almost like plastic, but it's like nylon jacket. Yeah. This guy was wearing a bright purple jacket, and it had a picture of the old school not the old school, but like the cartoon version of Batman, the Joker, and it said in font, like this big yellow font, "The Joker" on the top, and it had the Joker's face, and it said "Ha ha ha" on the back of this guy's jacket. Like, oh my god. Like, did you just... And he wore that jacket into the interview. They said no, specifically because of the jacket. Now, is that mean? Are we holding someone's clothing attire against them? Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's not even like, I wear some weird stuff at home or in front of friends at the appropriate time. But it says a lot about a person that says, yeah, it's appropriate for me to wear this into an interview. It's not, you know?
Right.
So I think we're getting close to...
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta probably wrap this up.
We'll finish that, and then I got a story that you'll remember.
No, but the guy... So here's the kicker. This is the best part of the whole thing. Okay, so the jacket was beautiful. I mean, the jacket was probably... I saved the picture. You know what I'm gonna... I wonder if I can, like, crop it. I'll post it.
Yeah, put it on here.
I'll post it, but this doesn't have anything to do with bad recruiters. This is more like bad candidates, but it's a funny story. Right. So maybe I'll try to post it somewhere. I don't know, so you can see later on. The guy calls me. No, the hiring guy, the guy who was doing the hiring, calls me when he's done with the interview. Okay, as he's walking to his car, he's done with the interview. He's walking to his car. The candidate goes to his car in the parking lot and just sitting in his car, maybe looking at his phone,
sulking,
whatever. He's probably polishing his jacket, his Joker jacket. Right, his windows are down a little bit. The guy who was the interviewer is on the phone, talking to me, and he's like, dude, this was the creepiest guy I've ever met in my entire life. This was the worst interview. I mean, the guy, I honestly don't know what it was. It was just the jacket. He goes, it was just threw me off. I can't, in good honesty, I can't. Like, who wears a jacket like this? Like, even at Comic-Con, if you wear this jacket, people will look at you weird. Yeah. I mean, I've gone to Comic-Con and wore a freaking Star Wars outfit before, and everyone's like, cool, you know? This Joker jacket is just beyond words.
We gotta go.
The guy heard it. So he calls me. The candidate calls me after the guy calls me. He goes, I heard everything. I'm just really disappointed. I'm
disappointed in your wardrobe, buddy.
And so I said to him, I go, hey, look, man. I go, you heard everything. Maybe this is
a learning experience.
I said, this is a good thing. This is the universe telling you, throw that jacket in the trash. Well, I really like this as a collector's item. I'm like, you know what, man?
Frame
to each their own. I said, but that does not have a place in a job interview.
Right.
So these are things you need to know. Anyway, it was really funny.
Real quick, early in my career, when I was still sending, interview confirmation emails with 4 paragraphs about how to prepare for an interview, including, wardrobes to wear, what to wear to this interview, blah, 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 blah. Now, I still do that, just on a little bit different note now. Dino and I had an interview. Lady, very strong technical project manager, told her what to wear. She shows up in black jeans. That could have been construed as slacks. Maybe they were slacks.
Oh, I remember this.
A white wife beater with a flannel shirt over it, unbuttoned, tied up in the front. Okay. Okay, not appropriate for an interview, right? Long story short, she does very well in the interview. They ask her to come back, but they specifically say, hey, what was up with that outfit? Like, can you dress up a little bit? It's a little bit of a more professional environment. We specifically have a conversation. I say, I don't know, maybe a business suit. Maybe you've got a little skirt suit or business suit that you could wear. Next interview, exact same outfit, different flannel shirt, tied up, white wife beater. And I'm like, there's just no hope for people. And this isn't a help desk person. This is a senior project manager.
This is a project manager BA. Yeah. I remember the customer specifically.
Yeah, and
I remember this exactly.
I remember the name of the person.
Honestly, and here's the deal, man. She wasn't like rough looking.
No, she's a good candidate. And I've talked to her since then, but I'm like, gosh, like even. Oh,
have you talked to her again since then?
I've placed her, but for nothing else, just give me a solid and wear something different. Just give me a solid and help me out here. But
I mean, I'm telling you, man. There's some of the stuff. So sometimes those things can be perceived as you're just a bad recruiter.